Good afternoon, and welcome to Expose Yourself to Art, a show that explores the creative process by inviting artists to come on and have a chat with us about their life and their work. My name is David Schrader, and with me, as always, is my co host, Linda Scheller. Hello, Linda.
Hello, David.
How are you doing this wonderful day? A little drizzly out?
Yeah, it's wonderful weather. I love this, and hopefully we'll get a lot of rain.
Yeah.
So, did you have a good time in the open studio this past weekend?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Had quite a few people come through Saturday, fewer on Sunday, and sold a few pieces of art.
Good.
Some of my photographs. That always feels good. So how's your cello playing coming?
Well, I had a lesson today, and yeah, it's coming along. I'm getting better. Still not saying very much, but
Okay. So anyway, we have a wonderful, interesting guest today, but first let's uh, give a listing of some of the things that are going on in our lovely town.
Mhm.
So, whoa, tomorrow, October 21st, is Downtown Third Thursday Art Walk from 5 to 8 p.m. An opening reception is being held at the Chartreuse Muse for a show with paintings by Don Hall. He was a guest on our show not too long ago. And ceramics by Kathy Newland. So don't miss this one.
Central West Ballet presents Pirates, Cowboys, and Damsels, a steampunk night of outlaw dances. Woo-hoo. This brand new production is a night of pure entertainment, adventure, romance, the Old West, steampunk characters, pirate lore, swashbuckling scenes, saloon poker brawls, beautiful damsels, Dia de los Muertos, desert islands, maps, trains, ships, and a whole lot more. Music, design, and choreography by Central West Ballet's own Renee Dawalui. And this is October 22nd and 23rd. Tickets at galloarts.org.
Wow.
Yeah,
Something not to be missed. And I won't.
truly.
I think I'm going Friday night. Okay, next, The Art of Hope, a fundraiser for Cricket House's Hope Art Restores Kids program, is October 28th. Private showings and a virtual event feature art donated by local artists. The Art Restores Kid program of Cricket's Hope, I said Cricket's House, I'm sorry, of Cricket's Hope, is available to children who have experienced family violence. More information can be found at crickets-hope.org. And
So, Sunday is Benny's night from 4 to 7 p.m. at Prospect Theater Project. Join us for an evening of food, drink, and philanthropy. For tickets, visit prospect.vbotickets.com. Event Benny's. Look at that menu. Ooh, that's going to be good.
yep, okay.
And we have Suspicion by Alfred Hitchcock. This is one of Prospect's Radio Cavalcade productions, and that will be a week from Saturday, October 30th. I should say there's also another radio drama called The Mysterious Traveler, in which yours truly plays an old lady. Anyway, Suspicion, charming scoundrel Johnny Scarth woos wealthy but plain Lena Laidlaw, who runs away with him despite the warnings of her disapproving father. Yet Johnny's risky financial ventures cause Lena to suspect he's becoming involved in unscrupulous dealings and to fear he might kill her for her inheritance. Oh, so again, please go to the Prospect website, and there you can get tickets at prospect.vbotickets.com. Don't miss it.
Okay, it's time for our guest, John Griswold, an amazing person, been involved in the arts for many years in our community, has played many roles. And let's hear what he has to say about himself. So welcome, John. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So where are we going to start this journey with you? You've told me in the past stories of your father's restaurants. So that tells me that you grew up around here. Is that true?
Yeah, I moved here when I was 9 years old. My dad was a restaurateur in Sacramento. He owned 6 restaurants there, and his dream was to own a restaurant in a barn. And we were driving to LA one day to buy some antique cars and passed through Ripon, and there was a red barn right on the highway. And Dad stopped right then and leased it. We opened a restaurant there, and lasted for 9 years. And then he decided he wanted to go up and work for Harris Auto Collection, so he closed it. So I moved to Ripon. That was 1953, and I've been trying to get away ever since.
Trying to get away, man. You brought a lot to the community.
Mm-hmm. Did you love arts as a child, John?
No, not so much. I used to draw antique cars because my dad had the biggest antique auto collection in California at the time.
Whoa.
But that's about it. Yeah.
Well, that's art. I mean,
That's
and
art.
antique cars are kind of art, really.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you become interested in art? I mean, I understand you're a designer in many ways.
Well, yeah, I studied architecture in school, so, and I wanted to be an interior designer, and that's what I did. I spent my career doing commercial interiors until I discovered there's something better.
So in this town, where did it start? I understand you were the first person to start the remodeling of the State Theater. Is that where it started? Did it start?
Yeah. A little background. I had seen a couple of foreign films that really moved me. Jean de Florette and Manana the Spring, a couple of French movies. Yeah. You saw them, Linda?
Yes, so beautiful.
And so I thought, there's nobody showing foreign films in town. So I thought, okay, well, the Covell is empty and blah, blah, blah. So I looked at that, and it was just beyond repair, the Covell Theater. I was walking from the Covell Theater to the little Asian restaurant next door to the State Theater, and I saw a for sale sign, and just a little for sale sign in the corner. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, okay. And I was on a board of directors of what was called Downtown Arts Project. So I took the project to them and got them interested in saving the theater, and we did. It was actually an escrow. It was going to become an office building. And so those 2 movies saved it from being an office building.
That's so great. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and so I ran it for 5.5 years until they decided they hated me and kicked me out. It was a nonprofit thing, so. But we've got it. It's going. They said it wouldn't work, it wouldn't last, and still going.
It's still going. Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where did you go from there? What?
Well, to kind of back up way earlier, once I got the state running, a friend of mine, Nick Chichopo, wanted to do a piano concert in there. So I built a stage, and I found that reaction of the people who came was amazing. So I started booking more and got more interested in the arts. I closed down my design business and spent my whole time running the theater and doing other arts things. And now look at me, I'm sitting on a computer. So,
No, that sounds like a huge transition. I mean, to close down your design business and jump into the arts. I mean, this the bottomless dark hole of the
leap
art.
of faith.
Yeah. And I understand from previous conversations that at some point you were on the Arts Council board here in town.
I was, yeah. That was Arts Commission then. It was a mayoral appointment at that time when it was a commission. And then I guess city government decided to give it up, so it became a council.
So who was the arts counselor then? Was that Grace Lieberman?
No, it was Cindy Hawker.
Cindy Hawker, okay.
Yeah, it was who I worked with the most.
Yeah. So you've been part of the art scene in Modesto and Stanislaus County for a significant part of your life.
Yeah, since we opened the theater in '94. Before that, I did a couple events for the Cancer Society in the early '90s, and that started booking bands there. So that since about '91, I got interested. Yeah, wow. I like it. I like seeing people happy and having a good time.
Wonderful. Yeah. So just following my history with you, at one point I went to Cuba with a friend, and we did a photography tour there, and I came back and we wanted to put on a display of what we had seen and what we'd done in Cuba. And I ran into you at a coffee shop and said, "John, what are you doing? You're just the man we need to book some acts and put this all together." And I know for me, that was the first big collaboration with you, The Romance of Old Havana.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you remember about that?
That it was probably one of the best events ever. I mean, it was a night of all things Cuba. 2 Cuban bands, Cuban dancers, Cuban food, mojito bars, cigar bar. Just, I don't know, just everything that night. I think, David, I think you do too, just was magic. There's no question about it. The funny thing is we made a deal with this dance troupe out of San Francisco, and we contracted for like 10 dancers. Well, all the dancers wanted to come that are in this particular dance school, at Arenas Dance School. And so we had, I don't know, what would you say, 25 dancers, all in costume, full costume, on the stage. And then they drug everybody from the audience on the dance floor. And it was just great. Everything was magical.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I do remember. It was a very magical evening. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of in the past. I mean, there are other things we could talk about, but the one of the main reasons I was hoping to have you on this show was something that you've been doing more recently, Red Tie Arts.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about that.
After I left the State Theater. My friend Jerry Cooper and I just kept on presenting jazz concerts. We used the SOS Club, Jacobs. We used my house for a while. And we just kept on. And we were in Mexico, San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, with 17 other people, and we were all sitting around a pool. And somehow it came up about children. And it's at that point, Jerry and I and Carol Ann Lau and Eve Edwards decided that we should do something for kids in the arts. And what we eventually came up with and what we do is we fund children who show exceptional talent and promise in the arts if they're underprivileged or underserved, or however you want to call it, whatever the current buzzword is. We got together when we got back, we got together with Sylvan School District and laid out a plan of how this would work. But in the meantime, I did a lot of research to the effect of music and arts on children. And the fact that if they study art and are raised on art, especially music and choir, they turn out to be much more productive adults. They turn out to be better students, just all around more people, more better people. So in the meeting with Sylvan School District, the point that was made is the kids don't start studying music in schools until like the 5th grade. Well, so we're not catching them when they're 6, 7 years old, where you need to get started with them. But so we decided, okay, well, that's what we'll work with. That's what we'll do. And jeez. He'll walk up and down the piano keyboard there in a minute. But okay, so anyway, we started working with the city schools, the county schools, and even more so charter schools. The charter schools are much more willing to refer kids to us that need financial help. And what we do is we give the students grants to study music privately. So we have a team of some of the best musicians in town, except for a cello player, Linda. We need a cello teacher.
Well, that's not me. But
and so what we do is we pay for 10 lessons. So they can get a little boost. They can have one-on-one. They can get immersed in the music that they want to study or the instrument that they want to study. And if whatever teacher we have teaching them thinks that they need another 10 lessons, we'll pay for that. Sometimes we buy instruments, and one student we help send to Juilliard, helped finance that.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah,
so
well,
wonderful.
we didn't help a lot, but he's a good kid, and so all of our funding for Red Tie Arts comes from the concerts that we do. The summer concerts at Luca Winery and Ripon fund most of it. We do some small winter concerts, but all the money, all that is not a direct expense like to the band or to rent of the facility, goes to the kids. None of the board members or anybody gets a dime. It's just we're all committed to the kids. And am I rambling?
Yes,
No, I think
wonderfully
it's
though.
fascinating.
I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Great Valley Academy in Salida turned out to be one that we worked with a lot. And you might see some pictures that they're brought up of some of the volunteers, but they even went so far as they now have a red tie jazz band of our students. And one of the other things we did with them is we had a Beatles tribute band several years ago, and some of the kids got to perform in the horn section. They were the horn section, and a couple of percussionists got to sit in. They got 3 standing ovations. This was like their first professional gig, and I mean, they were just so thrilled to get to play this quality of music and get standing ovations. So that was pretty cool. So that's what Red Tie Art does. Yes.
I'm amazed that you found a way to take something you love, which is scheduling concerts and bringing in musicians, and weaving that into making the community a better place for kids. I think that's a great idea. It's one that needs to be heard. So anyway, I think we have some pictures here, right, from the winery or the.
I think Linda might have some winery and some of the basement in McHenry Mansion or McHenry Museum. Yeah, that's getting set up for. I believe that was from the Michael Jackson tribute concert. That's the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
How many people might attend an event like this?
Well, San Joaquin County has some winery rules that restrict it to 300. However, once I goofed with my Excel and I had over 500. And, the facility's big enough to hold, probably 800 or 900 people. And this is the winery owner's backyard, actually. But we try to keep it right at 300. Yeah, just another view of it.
Yeah.
Starting to come in. This is from the early days. You can actually see lawn there.
Yes. I've been to some of the later ones where you couldn't see the lawn. Must have been one of those that had 500 people there.
Oh, no, there was only one, David. Go on.
So, what do we have here?
Oh, that's John King. There's a dinner option at the events, and so we have local musicians play at the dinner option, and that's local guitarist John King, and I can't remember the other fellow's name on the left, but fabulous guitar work. They do a lot of Django Reinhardt style music, if you're familiar with that.
No, but I've heard it.
Yeah. And that's
thanks to you.
What do we have? Another shot of that, and that's some of the kids preparing for the dessert. We have a dessert bar called Death by Chocolate. That
is that it?
That's one of the co-founders. That's Carol Ann, who was with us in Mexico when we started this.
What a great idea. I mean, it hooked me right away. I can have some of my favorite desserts, and it goes to help the kids. And people line up to do this. It's whoever came up with that idea, kudos.
Thank you.
That was you. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go to the Luca Winery. How many concerts do you do a year out there?
Well, and that's another rule. We can only do 4 a year.
Ah,
So that's all they allow us. That picture is a 14-piece Michael Jackson tribute band, actually out of the Bay Area, and they nail it. I mean, they absolutely nail it. Between all those singers up there, one of them can duplicate the song. So we've
yeah.
had them 4 times, I think.
I've been to 2 of them. They are good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else do we have here?
That's a guitar player from Fleetwood Mac we had this summer.
Okay.
They were excellent. And that's the lead singer, Stevie Nicks person.
Uh-huh.
She dresses like it. She's learned all the choreograph, all the moves. It's just pretty amazing. There she is again.
Uh-huh. There it is again. Yeah. So
Yeah, you can see our banner up there about underserved children, excel in life.
yeah. Yeah, the picture I get looking at these is you give people great entertainment, and it's again, it's a little bit different because, as you say, instead of the money going to the band or to you, we're having a great time and making a contribution to the art in the community.
Mm-hmm.
The kids.
Yeah, and the band, when they learn what we do, they treat us very well. We get really good pricing from these groups, but they get it.
Yeah.
And it's the yard and everything is just so beautiful that it's the wine is great, the food's great, and it's the best evening out, I think. And I'm not saying that just because we do it. Oh, maybe I am.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
But
yes, I am.
a great evening out. It is a great evening out. Yeah.
And this picture was when I used to do concerts in my front yard. That's Jeff Kashawa performing. He's a really big name in smooth jazz.
Uh-huh.
And we could seat 180 people in my front yard.
Your front yard?
Yeah,
oh my
front
God.
yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the neighbors?
They were all invited, but what they did is they usually put a table and chairs and food out in their front yard and listened.
Ah, okay.
It was at the end of a dead-end street, and the stage faces a schoolyard that goes for 2 blocks, so sound really wasn't a problem.
Okay. So what do we have next here?
What we did this last year, one of the things we do is we fund a lot of the students for Opera Modesto. So a couple of years ago, we had the students come out and perform "We Are the World" before the show. This year, we had opera students come out and sing the national anthem, which actually moved the audience like you wouldn't believe. So this is Annalisa Winberg from Opera Modesto. And what we do is I introduce her. She talks a little bit about opera and what they do. And then she introduces one of the students that we have funded, and they sing the national anthem. So that's what's going on right here. this is one of the students. Fabulous job. She did such a great job.
Yes. That's great. Ah, there you are. And, yeah. Who is that with you this time? Up there.
I don't know. Is that Annalisa? I think so. She's the only one that's, I can't see, that's so small.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Now, this is a little theater in the basement of the McHenry Museum. It seats about 80 people, and when the lights go down, it's like a smoky New York City jazz club. And this is Slim Man, who we've been bringing to Modesto for, I don't know, since 1995, actually, every year. And he's a real crowd pleaser. And he doesn't mind playing for small audiences. And this was just after the show. The women just throw themselves at him.
Yeah, you've brought him here so much. I'm beginning to think, he's your alter ego, and you're really identifying with him when he's up there with all these good-looking women. Huh?
Yeah, I know. I just sit in the back and cry because it's not me. One of his merchandise items.
Yeah. What's next?
Next. Oh, that's just the check-in. That's some of the volunteer students who check in at the winery. More of the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Volunteers, and the lady on the left, she's a board member and a music teacher, and she's taught these kids as well as coordinates the volunteer staff.
Okay.
And they're also the Red Tie Arts Jazz Band. So they come and help out. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is that the end of the, yeah. Okay. So, okay. You're an amazing guy. You put this together. You've created this wonderful thing to support the arts in the community. You've been involved your whole life. And you not only work with kids, but I understand you are now working with seniors. Can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Well, it's not really a program. It's just, I don't know, very loose. Next door to where I live, there's a senior complex. And when the owners found out what I did, they kind of put me in charge of, what do they call me? Entertainment director or something like that. So we've done a couple of things. Actually had Slim Man over here performing with them, as well as a couple of jazz groups out of Sacramento. And, Red Tie Arts has decided that we would help fund these things. They would, the owners will kick in a certain amount of money to pay for them. And then Red Tie Arts covers the rest. So, when we can, we will do stuff for senior complexes, or, and it's low income seniors. It's people who, can't really afford to go out to these things. So that's what that amounts to. It's not an official thing that Red Tie does. It just, can we do it?
Right. But you've tapped me a couple times to be a judge in an art contest for these people too. And
well, you've refused a couple of times too. He doesn't like seniors, everybody. But look at him.
Yeah, look at me. I is one.
Well,
Probably older than most of the people you're working with. Just had
put together. No, I mean, one of the things I put together for them is we do a monthly coloring contest, and I provide color sheets and I provide colored pencils, and now it's become a nightly social gathering, and these people have gotten really good over the last couple years of I'm teaching them how to shade and shadow, and I mean, they love doing it, and I frame the winners, the first and second place. I frame them, and they go up in the clubhouse as a permanent collection. And something else I've done was what would you call it? A treasure hunt, and that's fun.
Speaking of fun.
Yeah, so that's one of the other things we've done, and they also, the owners found out that I was an interior designer, so they tapped me for redoing the clubhouse, and I'm working on the landscaping plan for next year and whatnot. It's kind of fun. It's all volunteer work, but it's fun.
That's great.
There's no
What
end.
are some of the upcoming events and groups that you're planning and contemplating?
Right now, Linda, not much. I'm taking a little break. I know for next year, we're going to have a Heart, the group Heart tribute band, and they're called Heartless. And I mean, man, the lead singer can belt a tune like nothing I've ever heard. And that's the only one I know for sure that we're going to have. I'm trying to find a Billy Joel tribute band, Elton John tribute band, and possibly a Carpenters tribute band. I wanted to have Sergio Mendes come, but that was for something else. Maybe we're going to talk about. I don't know. But nothing. I haven't scheduled any winter stuff yet because COVID. I don't know if we're going to get to use the basement, or we're going to use the gallery to do some things. Still all in the air.
Yeah, jumping around to some other things. In the middle of all this, you and I had a brief collaboration. We had this idea for a book about a magazine about the arts. Lasted one glorious issue. The reason I bring that up is, you're one of these people that just lives through art. And it comes out all over the place. I mean, and I understand you're working with another fellow in town about a magazine having to do with cars, old cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about that, or do you want me to talk about?
Well, sure. Yeah.
Well, I'll back up a little bit to the magazine that David and I and John Souza produced. It was called Focus On. And it was a magazine about the arts in the community. And I have to say, it was a brilliant magazine. It was glossy. It was big. I mean, what was it, like 80 pages, something like that. Interviews, stories from prominent arts people in town. We printed 4,000 and they disappeared within 2 weeks. We put them out and they were gone. People were stopping me and telling me about how great it was. And there's a second one in the computer, but we just didn't have the money to do it. So
Right.
sadly, it was a one-hit wonder. But because of that, longtime friend Richard Jantz came forward and wanted to do a magazine focusing on cruising and classic cars in Modesto. So that's about to go to press, as well as another magazine I've created for him about tourism in the Central Valley. And they're both glossy. Hopefully within the next 6 months or so, they'll be out on the newsstand. And I would love to get Focus On going again, because
It'd be great.
we needed that.
But, you know, it's the arts. The arts, people in the arts are always looking for money,
Yeah.
needing money. And, you know, you're a very, courageous person to have backed away from your design, your design work, and which brings in money to, like I say, jump into the dark pit of the arts, doing things that you do for love, and hopefully the money shows up.
Yeah, I'm going to go off camera for just a second. I've got to find out why this is not getting juice.
Oh, juice. Oh my gosh. So what do you think, Linda?
Yes, it was working low.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Linda, you don't say much.
Well, no, but I look good.
Well, why do you think I'm on here? So I can look at you.
Oh, gosh. Oh, wow, I'm doing my job.
So another little project that just popped out of your head at one time, which is in beautifying downtown Modesto. It was your idea to turn the crosswalks into piano keys. Is that correct?
Yes, it was. And it started as a joke. I was doing a Google Maps thing of downtown, looking for a place that could do outdoor concerts in downtown Modesto. I was looking down the alleys and all that. I looked at that intersection. I go, So I went and I found a keyboard and I pasted it in the intersection. And Linda Knoll didn't get that one either. And so I just posted it on Facebook as, hey, wouldn't this be cool? Well, then it kind of took on a life of its own. And it finally got done. However, it's turned out to be quite an embarrassment because it's ugly now. They claimed that they had money to keep it restored, looking good, and it's never been done. A group of people went down one Sunday to clean it, and the police stopped them because they didn't have a permit to clean the crosswalk. But yeah, it was my idea, and I wanted to do more of that, and expand it down to more intersections and really promote the downtown as an arts center. But that's as far as I got. Yeah, I did a proposal for a mural, which didn't get off the ground, sadly. And everything is about a tribute to graffiti and cars and all that stuff. And the big wall that's on the corner, the tall building that's on the corner of, what would that be, 12th and J? Yeah, 12th and J, right over the Diva Cafe. There's a big flat wall. And I wanted to do a tribute to Lucas, but what I wanted to do was take the Millennium Falcon spaceship, having it crash into that wall. Yeah. But I couldn't get it off the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
That would have been, I mean, that's something that George Lucas would probably, get excited about.
I bet you would.
Yeah.
But while we're on this topic, you're always one person that people go to when they talk about beautifying or restoring downtown Modesto. And you always seem to have ideas, many ideas, some criticisms about what's going on.
No criticisms.
No criticisms? Okay, I'm sorry.
No. J Street is beautiful.
Okay. I don't know. Could you share with us some, do you have any ideas off the top of your head about some of the things that could possibly go on downtown Modesto?
Well, as a former downtown business owner, I actually owned a store on J Street years ago called the Elegant Outhouse, which was a bathroom specialty shop. And at that point, I kind of got interested in downtown because it was doing a little bit of resurgence. There was still a lot of retail. And now, as you know, in order to be successful, there's got to be retail, there's got to be things that people want to do outside of go down and just eat. And there really is not that. I sent a couple of proposals to the city council, one being to turn I Street, the block in front of the Gallo, and the next block in front of where the old post office and county building is, taking that and making that closing it off and making that a huge public area. Redoing the walks with brick walkways and new plantings, and make it a space where people want to go. You can have art shows on the weekend. I planned a hotel for the 12th Street end with retail in it and a parking garage. And just like it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of open area in those two blocks that could give Modesto a downtown square, and not like that little thing in front of the Brendan Theater. But, nobody even responded to it. So until you make that downtown beautiful to the public, and I don't mean these parklets sticking out into the roadway, but really making it beautiful, nice planting, spruced up storefronts, and a reason for people to want to go walk and spend time. And then, of course, there's the argument too about downtown living, the building, and that's been going on for 30 years that I know of. So, until you can accomplish those things, I don't think it'll ever be a retail center again. Retail has changed tremendously with Amazon and malls and stuff like that. So it needs to be, what's left is arts and entertainment. And good entertainment. I mean, not just, kid bands playing on the street, but I don't know. That's my 2 cents worth. I'll probably catch hell for saying those things, but oh well.
That's your life. I mean, this is what you've dedicated yourself to.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, at the risk of being maybe a little bit psychological, what moves you to do these things? You have ideas for things, but you're actually moved and motivated to go in this direction and come up with ideas, even if they upset people, to keep hammering away at bringing art to the public or putting art in the life of people? I mean, where does that come from?
It's some kind of character flaw. I don't know, David. I think it goes back to liking to see people smile and have a good time. And I think what really triggered that emotion was when I was running the state, I did a chamber music series. Chamber orchestras from all over the world. We had Moscow Chamber Orchestra, Munich Chamber Orchestra, TOEFL music from Canada, Juilliard String Quartet, which had a cello, by the way, Linda. And when the Moscow Chamber Orchestra was playing, the last song they did, well, they had been on tour in the United States, and I just managed to pick them up on the night before they were flying home. And they did this piece. The nickname for it is called Farewell. I don't know. I don't remember if it's a Haydn or Franz Liszt or who the composer was. But what happened is they sit in a semicircle on the stage, and they light their music with candles. They have a candle on each side of the music stand. And as the song is played, two people will blow out their candle and leave the stage, and then the next two people. And I had gone through and I turned off all the exit lights. I turned off every light in the place. And so it got down to just two violins left playing. And they were just playing this sweet, sweet music. And they blew out the candle. And it was pitch black. I took the stage lights down as they blew them out. And I left people in the dark for probably 15 seconds, which is an eternity when you don't know. And I just slowly brought the lights back up, and people were crying.
Oh,
It was unbelievable. And I think that emotion triggered something in me that I want to see people having a good time and be happy, because there's so much sadness in this world. And to answer your question, I think that's where it all came from, that one night. And then after that, you talk about crazy Russians. We all went over the Harvest Moon, and because they couldn't drink on the tour, but this was their last night. So we went over there and had a little party, and the Russians were, like you'd expect, a mug of beer and literally dancing on the tables. It was just crazy. Love the Russians.
So,
does that answer your question, Sir David?
Yes, it did.
More than you ever wanted.
So, how long does this go on? What can we expect in the future from you?
God, I don't know, David. I'm working on the arts website. You can expect that one day.
Speaking of that, tell people about the, Stanislaus Arts collaboration that you put together. This is an amazing thing. It has a great story. We have just enough time for you to tell it.
Arts Modesto, a collaboration, is what this is called. advertising is expensive. There is no way really to promote advertising outside of our own email lists and Facebook and what have you. Modesto readership of the Modesto Bee is down. They don't cover much. So in my desperation of how to get the word out for what Red Tie is doing, I came up with this idea that I should get a group together of all of the major arts groups in town, the ones, the smaller ones like Prospect Theater, Mifflin Gallery, Opera Modesto, and do a joint email. Only we don't do it where we share the email thing. They all send me information for the next month. I put it up. I put it in a template. I send it back. And so there's 6 of us, and we all list our events. And then each one of us sends all of that to their own email. So in essence, we now reach about $28,000 homes for nothing. And it helps promotes the arts as a whole, as well as our individual. And when they get the template, they can drag their pod to the top. So it looks like it's coming from them, and they, so it's worked pretty well. Well,
that's great. Thank you so much.
It was a brilliant idea, and you are a true gem in the community.
Oh, yes. Yeah, right.
No,
you are.
I know. You joke about things, you put it down. But to do the work that you do, and it includes all the arts. It's not just one area. It's not just your jazz groups. It's you found a way to bring the arts community together, which is, well, if you know the history of Modesto, that's very difficult to do sometimes.
Very difficult.
All work independently. And it's a brilliant idea because we can work together for a common purpose, which is to advertise what we have and to make the most use of what we do have without having to come up with thousands of dollars for traditional advertising. So I'm impressed.
Well, it started selfishly because I wanted to get my stuff out there and take everyone else along for a ride.
Yes, it's a wonderful way.
No, but I would like to get more people involved in that, and even do it a couple of times a month eventually, so we can keep the community apprised of everything that's going on.
Well, thank you for being on our program with us. Do you have any final thoughts, Linda, or John?
Well, thank you for everything you do, John. And you have quite a musical cat there.
You have no idea.
I have a dog who sings along with my cello. We should get them together. We'd have
I think it's a great idea. You play cello, I play a little guitar, and we'd have opus on the piano and your dog singing.
Sammy.
What more do we want? But yeah, the one thing I would like to say to everybody that might be listening and tuned in is donate to your favorite arts groups, whether it's the gallery, the Opera Modesto, Prospect Theater. Toss a few shekels in. Give them your pocket change every week. We all need money to operate and to do good. Ouch, stop it, bad boy. Sorry.
Well, thank you once again, and goodbye to Opus too. So
yeah, say everybody say goodbye to Opus.
Bye, Opus.
All right, you guys. Thanks a lot for having me on. This is fun.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.